I believe in you. You can do it.
Thanks, Paul.
Also, I just realized I missed the black t-shirt memo. That's probably what you were talking about a couple minutes ago.
What was
We're kind of in a color scheme right now, though.
Yeah,
Black,
I got
white,
the
and
black
red.
hat. What's up?
Yeah, it's good because I have Nick's got the lighter walls, darker shirt. I've got the darker walls. Yeah, it's all coming together.
That's what's up. That's how we roll. We
I don't
are
think we should,
professionals.
I don't think we should even do an intro, a formal intro. I think we just go right into it.
I love it.
Yeah.
We don't need an intro.
Yeah, so let's get this thing started.
Sweet.
Hey, so Paul, what kind of mic are you using there?
I have a AKG Perception 120.
Nice.
I'm testing different mics right now. Next on the list is a Sennheiser 835, which I use a lot for recording vocals and stuff. I haven't used it for podcasting yet, but we'll see. I don't know. It looks fancy. I bought it for $50 off a friend, so it's cool.
Well, I'm using the 935, the Sennheiser, which is my stage microphone.
So
I have a few production mics at my job, but I can't. I wanted to make it a point to only use stuff I actually own for this.
I feel that.
So it was a little rough.
The
Nick,
Skull
yours is
Candy inked headphones.
Yeah. Yours is on there. It's hard to get things shipped on time, right?
Yeah, everything's on order. I've got mics and everything. I just the MacBook that I've got doesn't have any kind of input other than Thunderbolt, and they don't make XLR to Thunderbolt.
I think you have personally. I think of the two brothers. I was going to speak for all of us. I think Paul actually has the most microphones.
Oh yeah.
But for the Alexanders, I think Nick is the microphone collector there. I've got the two. I've got the one you got me, and then this one.
I've got two SM58s. I've got a PG48, and then I've got that 609 that I use on my guitar cab.
I hope this whole podcast is just us bragging about what gear we have. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could do that. We could.
Gear's important,
Gear's important. Zach's got
think
that T60 hanging in the background there.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I'm just working on my home office here. T60 in the back. I've got the Alvarez that I'm working on refinishing here, which none of those are expensive. But then I always keep this, and no one has noticed or said anything yet. People will now. Right here, I keep it on my message board. We are the OK. Which
I saw that in your video from earlier today, your cover video, and I was like, that's so cool.
It's one of those things. It's lame to point it out, which I've just done. But I was actually going to sell that light board, but Taylor has an attachment to it, so I got to keep it. But it's not going in the main sitting area, obviously, because it's a light up message board.
That's fair.
I was going to say, don't we have one of those from the old merch table from the old band?
I think we still have it. Yeah, it should be somewhere in your possession.
Speaking of old band, that was you guys were in Fall Out Boy, right? Wasn't that the last group you guys were in?
So let's talk about let's talk about Fall Out Boy. No, let's
yes. Take This to Your Grave was their best record. That's all I have to say.
Nick and I shared.
Yeah,
you go ahead, Nick.
I could agree with that 100%.
I mean, From Under the Cork Tree was their best, I think, overall. But Take This to Your Grave is my jam. That's my fave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nick and I shared a room for a brief moment during our teenage years. When
early junior year or late sophomore year.
What album was that? Had a sheep on it?
Infinity on High had just come out.
Yeah, I've seen all of those, all the live.
Yeah, there was
live bonus discs and stuff.
You know how everybody goes through seasons of you're obsessed with a certain band?
Oh yeah.
That was my Fall Out Boy phase. I had pretty much everything I could get my hands on from them.
I love it.
Pretty in Punk was my favorite song because it was the most obscure.
Nice. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
That was before I knew you. That's wild.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like I knew you through those times.
I feel like we were probably living similar lives.
Oh, no doubt. Just in the north and in the south.
Yeah.
Well, let's let me I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's at least acknowledge the fact that we're doing something here. This is the OK Podcast, which is a hilarious title.
I love it.
but it's
great.
accurate. It is an OK podcast, and it's a podcast for the OK. We are the OK, and this is just a monthly thing we'll be doing. You can hang out with us a little more, or at all. Like you're not hanging out with us at all otherwise. And it's just something fun we'll be doing. So our main gig is music. None of us are professional podcasters. But, yeah, sure. Paul's got one in the works, but it's just something we're gonna do to hang out. So this is the first one. If you're listening, thank you for jumping on the wagon. I don't know, the train. Thank you for being a part of this early on.
Let's establish what this is. Is it a wagon, a train, a car, a truck?
It really just
A rickshaw.
a rickshaw. The OK rickshaw.
I was hoping for like a sidecar, but I mean it's cool.
The OK Sidecar. All right, now that's a band from like 4 years ago.
The OK Sidecar.
The OK Sidecar.
We're in an unsigned band. It has to be a crappy van.
Oh yeah, hands
Thank you
down.
for jumping on the crappy van.
Oh man, the
Like
Chevy,
the old family van.
the OK Chevy Express.
Oh, I love it.
So I want to do this. Let's start this way. Not that I'm in charge of this outfit, but
You're doing great.
not that I'm driving this crappy van. But let's talk about how we all met. Let's do that.
Sweet.
You're my brother.
Yeah. So Nick was there first. Wait, Paul, are you older than Nick?
Nick, how old are you?
28.
Oh yeah, I'm 29, so I guess a little bit.
So Paul was here first.
The North wins again.
And Nick is I don't know, I'm speaking for you. I'm Nick.
I'm the older
Nick was
brother.
here first, so I am Nick's younger brother. And so Nick and I obviously knew each other. We've been playing music together for a good chunk of time, maybe the better half of 7, 8, 9 years.
Almost like 10 years now.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Because we started playing my senior year of high school, which was 2010. So
Right. Okay. Wow. 10 years. And we were in an official band, a touring band together for 5 years called Ocean City. You can go check that out on.
Big fan.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Check it out, Spotify, that sort of thing. And Paul, I guess you talk about. I guess you knew Nick.
Yeah, Nick
Right?
and
Or
I
Nick knew
met
you?
at camp in what was that? It was summer 2011, I think.
yeah,
that was.
2011. Because it was
Yeah.
after my first year of college.
Yeah, and it was my second summer there. So, yeah, we met, and I think it was maybe the first night of the big hey, everybody's here, let's figure out what we're doing.
Yeah,
and
it was like
yeah, go ahead.
it was like training celebration. We were all hanging
Yeah.
out, just like because we had all finished our like orientation or whatever.
Yeah, and I saw this dude wearing a Day to Remember b-ball shorts, and had the hair and the gauges, and I'm like, I gotta go talk to this guy. And I was like, dude, I love A Day to Remember. And then we just started talking about bands, and then boom.
Yeah, and that's the way it went. I was literally all right. So the camp that we worked out, it was a whole bunch of like college kids, and most of them were very preppy college kids.
Oh yeah,
I love a lot of those people, have near and dear places in my heart. But they were all like khaki shorts or like Nike shorts and stuff, and then here I am. I've got like cut off skinnies and A Day to Remember basketball shorts, and I was like, I'm not gonna fit in at all. And then Paul comes walking, and I'm like, hey.
friend. It's a
And
good
so,
time.
fast forward, however many years
Yeah,
to last
math.
year, and Nick and I are on tour.
18. So it would have been 7 years.
Last year was
Okay.
2019.
No. Was it 2019 that we played?
I
Or was it
can't remember.
2018?
Yeah. No, it was 2019. It was last year.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I
last-
promise, because it
March.
was.
or
It
last
was.
February.
Yeah, it was the weekend before I started my job at Starbucks. That's how I remember.
I mean, it seems like
This
it's
is
been
this
forever.
is my
but
first day, so
Yeah, Nick's new here.
It seems like a lot longer. Well, Nick and I had tried to get some stuff going.
yeah.
Like ever since then. I think I tried to do that one. I was going to church
Towards
play
the Sun.
thing, and Toward the Sun. I was going to hook you into that,
Yeah.
and then you tried to get me to come down to that church plant, and then it was
Yep.
just here and there. We were like, hey, let's do a show together, and it never happened until you guys called me, and life
Right,
got
and
better.
so we had a show with Ocean City that was in Youngstown, Ohio, and
nice area.
Which
the
is
way that
a couple light years away from where we all live.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Nick and I live in close to Louisville, Kentucky, and Paul, you live up.
I'm right outside Detroit, Michigan. So
Yeah, so not close. No one was close to Youngstown, and the other guys in the band, we had scheduled the date, and it had been kind of a maybe the whole time. So the other two guys ended up not being able to be there, and we're like, "Oh, we can't. We've got this date." You know, Nick and I are like, "Well, maybe we could just do some acoustic," and then Nick's like, "I think I know a guy. We could at least get some drums going." And I was like, "Okay, I've never heard of you knowing another drummer until this point." And so, to me, I was still in that management perspective of like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. We didn't practice. We practiced at sound check just briefly, like one song. So the first thing I see of Paul, we're in this coffee shop. We grab some coffee, and it's obvious from the start, from my perspective, that you know what you're doing. It's not like you're just rolling into something you have no clue how to do. But then we get there to sound check. I don't even remember what song we played, but you just killed it. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, I'd never been in a group. I don't know how to phrase that.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
I'd never been in a situation where I wrote the song and then, we wrote the song, the band wrote it, and then someone else learned the part and then just replayed the part perfectly for the song. Like, it was such a crazy thing to me.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. I purposefully, because I've got some of Paul's catalog on my phone, I purposefully didn't show you any of it, just just to build the suspense.
I mean, Connor in Ocean City it still is a fantastic drummer, and so I was kind of spoiled to his playing. I was like, "There's no way that this random dude's just going to be able to fill in." And then Paul, they were like, "Hey, check the whole kit, the sound guy," and Paul just throws in, I'm assuming something fairly basic, and I was like, "Oh crap, this dude can play."
For those of you just listening to audio, Zach just made the most ridiculous "just saw a raccoon" face.
The raccoon, saw a raccoon face. That's a new addition to my facial expression repertoire.
dude, it's a good one.
Oh, thanks. So then, fast forward again, however many months, that tour was kind of the swan song for Ocean City. It kind of broke the band. We're not going to dwell on that too much in this podcast. It wasn't really Ocean City ended and the OK started. Those two things happened sequentially, but they weren't cause and effect. Nick and I spent a good chunk of time not playing any music, not being a part of any project, and finally got this started. And then
we purposefully because it was the end of the year or something like that, and we purposefully did not even talk to each other about ideas.
Yeah, I remember
nothing. Like, that was the rule. Like, don't talk. We didn't talk shop at all.
Yeah, Nick, you're a very sketch based musician. I think, if I'm not like completely mistaken by that.
I like to use that term a lot.
Yeah, you'll send me like random tracks. I'm like, what's that even for? You're like, I don't know. I just made it. It's just I made this instrumentation. Just maybe I got this riff or something. Whereas I'm either completely off or I'm completely on. I'm either writing songs or I'm not doing squat. So Nick was like, hey, I wrote this thing. Maybe we could. And I'm like, don't talk to me about it. Like, we're on the off season right now. Don't talk to me. And so when the OK got started, you can go back. We have got a blog on the website. Kind of me explaining how things got started, and I'm sure you'll find out more of the OK lore, right, as we go on. But once we finally got started, Nick and I were kind of faced with, do we do this on our own? And then once again, we're like, well, we know we know Paul, and it's kind of cool, just a whole new formula for the OK. And it was weird because honestly, I didn't know you, Paul, at all.
Yeah.
Nick, I guess, knew you some from camp, but it wasn't like you guys were best friends. And
well, we worked at two different campuses for that.
Yeah.
That camp. Two different camps that were under the same umbrella.
We had like 2 weeks to like actually hang, and then he stayed at the camp we did the training at, and I went to the other one. And I mean, we maybe communicated a couple times throughout the summer because we were both in the worship bands, but I think I maybe saw you like once later that year. One time I was in Kentucky or something, but it's...
Oh, no. We had that, it was during the fall. when we were supposed to be recruiting for next summer.
Oh yeah.
And they threw together like an all-star band.
Yeah.
And we were picked for that team.
Yeah, that time they didn't pay us.
I think we should change the name of the band to the All Stars. Is that taken?
I don't know. We'll find out.
And so Nick and I and Paul, I don't think that was the right syntax for that cluster of people, but the three of us
keep it going.
played an amazing show. At least it felt amazing to us. Let me phrase it that way. And then we ate some delicious pierogi pizza.
Oh, that was so good.
So
Dude,
Let's just talk about how West Side Bowl in Youngstown, Ohio, if you ever get a chance, just grab any other pizza.
Oh, so
And
good.
let's talk about how the owner, the guy that was running the place, was just like the coolest dude ever.
I love that
was
place,
awesome.
man. That is, I've played a lot of places, and that is top 3. I'm just gonna put it out there, top 3, no doubt.
If we ever get used to or get rid of this COVID thing, we should plan that as our first show. Just go back to West Side Bowl.
Oh,
I
West
am
Side Bowl,
so
100%.
down.
Get some, but so after that point, we were like, "Hey, Paul will be in touch if we ever, need a fill in, or if you got something for us, or if you want to just jam." But the next time we got in touch with him was kind of formally offering him a spot in the OK, and so here we are.
Which is great because after, Ocean City called it quits, I was like, all right, I'm not trying to be selfish here, but I really hope they do something else. And I remember trying to throw that to you guys, hey, so what's next? And you're like, well, we're going to take a break. And I was like, all right. And there were times I had to fight so hard not to text you guys and be like, so are we going to start something? Because I'm totally down.
So it's something that we haven't talked about yet, but there was actually a point, because Zach and I, when we came out of that break, we started talking about okay, well, I've started playing with this style of music, or I'm listening to this band. Let's try to maybe follow that and try to see if we can put our own spin on things. And then as we were developing this idea and this project, I was like, we should talk to Paul. And Zach was like, yeah, we should get things fleshed out a little bit more. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And it was the next day you sent us that text. And Zach was like, we should talk to Paul. And I was like, no, we need to flesh things out a little bit more.
The progression went from maybe when we get things rolling and we're touring with this project, we'll see if Paul wants to tour with us. Then it became, well, let's just tell him we're doing it. And then it became, well, let's not say anything until. Are you guys getting a funky sound?
Yeah.
No,
I was.
I got a little bit of a glitch.
That was strange. And then it became, well, let's not tell him anything unless we can pay him. And then it became, then it became, screw it, let's just get him in the band and figure it out.
Yeah. Because I remember, Zach, you and I talked that one time. I was driving down to a gig in South Carolina, and we had kind of talked just to touch base, and I was trying not to be yo, I want in. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. I was trying to all right, I want to give these guys time, but yeah, because that show, when the three of us did, that Ocean City show in, West Side Bowl, man, it was, you play with so many different musicians, that's part of being a musician and trying to find, the band that works or wants the same thing you do. And, sometimes it's oh yeah, the gig went well. And sometimes it's man, probably won't play with this group again. And sometimes it's this just works. This is awesome. And I felt that, man. That was good. And I was at a point where I didn't even think I was going to really try and keep pursuing music right before you guys had me fill in that show, just because I had been going through some crazy life stuff and just music was kind of, not going well. And that show really sparked a lot for me, just wanting to get back into it. And so it was, life-saving in a way.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we gave you a call.
That's awesome.
No pressure, but yeah.
So what are we doing now? What's
Zoom call?
Yeah, Zoom call. Oh gosh. What do you guys? How you guys staying sane? What have you been doing during quarantine?
Well, Nick's got kids, so I'm sure he's busy.
Yeah, that's actually who I was waving at. They just got home. They were taking we actually as a family took nightly drives and stuff and just kind of explored.
Oh, cool.
And then I've been making music on my laptop, because with having kids in the house, I can't really plug in a whole bunch of amps and just rip on a guitar. So that's not fair to everybody in the house. And then I learned how to cook. Like,
What?
All right.
I've
I
made
got it.
I've made dinner almost every night. Well, tonight I made just burgers with poutine instead of just regular fries.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Paul, what about you? What are you doing?
Eating a lot. It's weird because I thought quarantine was really gonna like change my diet, and my parents and I were talking about this tonight at dinner. It's been wonderful. We've been eating so good. Like I had prime rib before we got on this call, it was incredible. So I just, food has been keeping me sane because it's just been so good. There's this meat market that my brother got me hooked on, and it's absolutely fantastic.
We're losing your video feed,
it just
man.
says the connection's bad.
It just got really excited about meat.
Oh man. All right, hold on.
Oh, dang.
There it is. Now it's back. All right.
That almost
there you
felt
are.
like a comedy
Awesome.
sketch. You like started ranting about meat, and then the next time we heard from you, it was like absolutely fantastic.
Oh man,
Oh man, the vegan
awesome.
police must be listening in.
that's what it is.
Hear my rant about prime rib.
This is crazy, but I went like full keto diet
I'm proud of
before
you,
quarantine started, and I have not kept it 100%, but
Yeah, no, Joe. When you stopped by the house to drop off that pedal board, which we social distance for, you dropped it at the end
save.
of the driveway, and I went
I
and
didn't
got
come
it.
near you.
You have lost like 20 pounds.
Yeah, I'm at 30 pounds lost right now.
That's great, man. Good for you.
So when people are like, "Man, the lead singer of the OK looks good," just know I used to be much heavier.
He looks like that singer from Ocean City, just a lot skinnier.
I love it.
There was some random comedian. I hate to not give him credit for his joke, but he had I won't even tell it. But
Nate
he was saying,
Bargatze.
like, pretend was that him?
Yeah,
it's
where
gotta
you
be.
just
He's
say
like,
that you lost
I just
more
say I
weight
used to
than
be
you really.
400 pounds or whatever. He said.
Yep. I love Nate Bargatze. He's hilarious.
Shout out to Nate. But
Nate, bring us on tour. All right, carry on.
yeah, I've been trying to, obviously write songs through this whole thing, but my job's keeping me super busy. It's not one of the businesses that is essential, so we don't have any patrons, if you will. But still have to do the things that we do behind the scenes, and so I feel like I just go to work and then come home.
Yeah,
This whole quarantine.
normal life.
Yeah, normal life. Other than
I've just been brought back for non-essential but social distanced work, so I'm having to do minimal schedule right now. So that's taken away from my cooking lessons.
Darn, man. Yeah, I'm not working, so it's been great, dude. I've been getting all the stuff done. But yeah, I bought a loop pack the other day, so I've been messing with loops, been working on some 80s junk. It's been super fun.
yeah, you sent us the most
Sick.
80s track I have heard so far.
What's fun is I
Yes.
didn't get to hear it because you sent it through email, and I don't check my email very often. And
All right.
when I clicked on the link, it said this file is no longer available. And I
Oh,
was like,
that's
well,
because I had already
fine.
done an updated one. I'll resend
man.
it to you. But
Yeah,
anyway, yeah.
I think people could describe our sound as the OK as 80s
New wave.
Yeah.
new wave. Not necessarily people aren't going to say this is an 80s band, but no, the track that you made was the most decidedly 80s track I've heard in a good chunk of time.
Good. I'm glad.
Sorry, there's a gnat. I don't know how a gnat got in my office, but
Oh, he's not social distancing.
can't be doing that.
You can't be
It's
doing
bad.
that.
Hey, go ahead.
I'm sorry, our governor says that down
Oh.
here in Kentucky. He says you can't be doing that.
You can't be doing that.
That's great.
It's like a catchphrase.
I was just curious, what inspired the new wave influence with the OK?
Oh, gosh.
So it was actually when I think my first influence of it was when we first recorded the Something About Distance EP for Ocean City. I started playing around with chorus pedals and stuff. And then like that just led into me wanting to hear more source material. Like I wanted to hear more 80s guitarists and stuff like that. And then Zach, a couple years down the road, found a band that he and I are both just nuts about called The Night Game, which is Martin Johnson, who used to be in Boys Like Girls. And he's a phenomenal producer.
Sweet.
Has a project that he kind of I don't even know if they're under a label or anything, but he's able to pour his like heart and soul and like fine tune every aspect about it. And they're heavily 80s influenced.
Cool.
I wouldn't say that they sound new wave or even as synthy as some of our stuff does, but I think that was like personally what got me into it.
Yeah, I think the vibe, honestly, not to sound like we were trying to rip off of The Night Game, but I realized after getting into his first album that it was more about the mood of it. You know, it wasn't necessarily that it was a more vintage sound. It was that he was like, okay, Martin Johnson writes a lot of pop hits. He's one of those guys that started producing when Boys Like Girls, you know, went on hiatus or broke up or whatever they actually did. Oh, look at this. Did you guys get this pop-up?
How'd you do that?
Running out of time. We've removed. All right. Thanks, Zoom. Love it.
It gave us extra minutes? That's great.
Yeah, they gave us extra minutes. It's like we, payphoned or something.
Apparently they like it.
So, it's like he saw what pop music was and he said, I'm not doing that. He was just like, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm going to go to the studio. Like there's the urban legend that he like turned off the radio and didn't listen to any radio for however long it took him to record the album.
Dang.
I just felt like that was something, like you guys, your music background seems similar in a way, but mine's very poppy. Like I really like pop music, and I strove when I was in high school to be a pop musician, but the more I see what it's about, the more I'm like, well, you can use those elements and make something not so conformist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was really the point behind it. Also, when Nick showed me what the solid state Roland amps could do with the chorusy awesomeness on the guitar, I was like, that's what I've been trying to play this whole time on this AC-15. And this is the sound that you are. I could have done this way earlier.
Solid state Roland amps. It's the JC120, man. The Jazz Chorus series.
Yeah.
It was the amp that Andy Summers from The Police used for a lot of his tones.
That's sweet.
Yeah. A lot of people have used it. All the clean tones that Metallica was famous for, from like And Justice for all those real shimmery guitar tones, those are JC120s.
Dang.
They're just, I don't know. There was a lot of like taste wise on the like the sound curation for the OK. It's a lot of classic 80s and early 90s vibed guitars.
I like it.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
You can't call out AC-15 and not call out JC-120.
Right. Well, I've got the JC-40.
Well, it's the same circuit.
Yeah, same
it's
thing,
just
pretty much. Just not as heavy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ridiculous.
it's funny. The JC-40 is literally like a shoebox compared to my behemoth of an amp.
Can you guys hear my dog?
Yeah.
A little bit. It was adorable.
Yeah, she's crazy. I was hoping she'd be pretty quiet for this, and she's a dog. Dogs like to bark, so.
Not mine. Lizzie's more like a cat anyways.
That's the funny thing. I got two dogs. One's in the office with me right now, making no noise. The other one is out in the other room, making as much noise as possible.
Dogs.
Hey, you guys cover this. I'll be right back.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Hey, so when Zach just said pop music, I was curious. Do either of you listen to Mariana's Trench?
Not as much as I should, admittedly. I'm not as familiar with them as I should be, but yeah, I do.
Have you heard Pop Music 101?
I have not.
Okay, you need to. Zach needs to as well. It's so great. They basically just make fun of how pop songs work, but yet in doing so, they wrote a really great pop song. It's wonderful.
That's great. So,
Mariana's
like,
Trench is
no
awesome.
joke. The Zach is talking about like, so growing up, we used to listen. There's a local radio station. I don't even 98.3, I think, is their call sign. I don't know. Or
What are you guys talking about?
We're talking about Quixie, WQXE.
Oh yeah.
So it's basically just like a top 40 station.
Okay.
But then they've also flavored themselves. They've got hits from the 80s, 90s. It's really just like modern popular music.
Gotcha.
With throwback popular music. And that's kind of what Zach cut his teeth on musically. And then he, out of my first CD collection, got a copy of How to Save a Life by The Fray. And whether he'll admit it or not, that's when you could start actually seeing the wheels turn in his head. And he just started like consuming music and like shaping his own songwriting and everything.
It's cool.
Yeah, I wanted to be Isaac Slade with
Just
hair.
with more hair.
That's great.
No, I mean, I think for the first little bit, I thought, we could, I thought, my own music would sound like The Fray since I liked The Fray so much. But, you guys get it. When you start actually making music, it kind of sounds like it sounds. You can be very intentional, but it's not going to sound like you want it to. It's going to sound like it actually sounds.
Yeah. Like some of the stuff that even influences you for a time when you're writing a bunch doesn't necessarily even sound like the stuff you were listening to, but it still inspired you to make what you made.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a crazy thing. I love it.
Hey, what are you guys listening to right now? Like, what's a track or an album or artist or whatever? What are you into?
Oh, man.
Let's do one. Like, something you just, or maybe two. Just a cluster of.
There's this band my friend just showed me. They're actually from Michigan, but like way, way Upper Peninsula. I think they're in Marquette. They're called Charmer.
Okay.
They're like emo, kind of somewhat pop punkish sounding, but super stinking great. Just put out a new record, and it's wonderful.
Right on. So, the last thing that I added to my library was Rolled Down Window by John the Ghost.
You stole mine.
I'm sorry, man. That's the last thing I added.
so
Hold on,
good.
let me see if I can come up. You talk about that one, I'll find something else.
Okay, fair enough. I am like a fanboy of the Maine. I don't know why, but I had always loved their Christmas EP from back in the day, if you will. But I never listened to their actual music that they had. And I ended up, my first sampling of the Maine was Lovely Little Lonely. And that album is perfect the entire way through. I'm serious. It's probably my favorite album of all time. Like, it's incredible.
Dang.
Then I found out, I started doing a deep dive. John, what's his name? O'Callahan? Is that his name? John, the lead singer, has his own project called John the Ghost. He's got a great EP and then just released a new single. That one is, I think I would still like it for sure, even if I wasn't such a fanboy.
Yeah.
Is that the song you sent me the other day?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, because I had to send him a text. I was like, I know this voice. Is that the guy from the Maine?
Oh, his voice is like tormentedly beautiful. It's so good. I feel like I have this I don't know. I feel like it doesn't matter. My voice is not like as broken and flawed as I mean, it's flawed, but it's not, you know what I'm saying? I wish it had a little more age and character to it.
Grit.
Yeah.
Well, smoke and age, and
Start
we'll be
smoking
fine.
cigarettes. I made this not like a promise or a whatever, but I realized as someone who makes music, if I put out something on Instagram or Facebook or whatever that, hey, take a listen to this if you're just stumbling upon it, I would hope that people would listen. So I've tried to, as I run into bands on Instagram or Facebook or something like that, to actually listen if they've got music attached to it.
Yeah.
And so I've been sending you guys stuff in the group chat, I ran into this OK OK by Hoko. Mm-hmm. Or I guess it could be HOKO since it's OK. But I don't know that they're going to be one of my favorite bands, but that one has such a crazy... Like, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here.
Yeah.
So, Nick, what's your... Sorry, I...
No, you're good.
Demanded that you hand over the one that I suggested.
So I guess, like, I made that playlist that I shared with you of just 80s jams.
Oh.
I literally started, like, an ongoing playlist of if it came out between... And this was just to kind of get source material, like I said before. If it came out between 80... and 89, it goes on that playlist.
Oh,
if
sweet.
I like it. Like,
yeah.
if I like that song, it goes on there. I don't care who it's by. And there's a band called Red Rockers. And they've got a song called China, and it's on an album called Good as Gold. Yeah, just like that, Zach.
Sorry,
oh, man.
But, like, that's like a go-to album for me right now. So I've got a bunch of stuff that I listen to. Like, today, I was listening to some throwback... alternative music. I was listening to Automatic Love Letter.
Oh man, brings me back.
Old
who's
stuff.
that guy? Who did you sent me a link to somebody. Who was that guy?
Oh, dude, Aaron Gillespie.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like all the bands.
He's my hero.
Apparently.
Like, oh my goodness.
You guys both do this to me. You will send me something or say, "Oh yeah, you know that band or that song." I'm like, "Never heard of it," and you go, quit playing around. You know the song, and I'm like, all right, well, let me look, let me see, and I'll go to listen to it, and nope, doesn't ring a bell in any way, and you guys are like, are you kidding? That's like such a famous, and I'm like, nope, have no clue.
Yeah, man, he's got a couple killer worship albums. He's got his solo stuff is very much like
so good, dude. Out of the Badlands was amazing.
Right.
What was the actual name of that? You sent it was like a band. He was in a band, but
the
almost solo project.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I was trying to think of the name.
Yeah, that's one of those 2000s bands you have to know.
Oh yeah, man! Southern Weather changed the world.
Maybe to you. So I liked the album. I feel like I was not a like I didn't know the album, but I did listen through it, and I enjoyed the arrangement of it. It wasn't my style, music wise, but very talented guy. You know, you can tell just because that's a relatively early album. I kind of listened to some more tracks coming up toward the current year, but do you think that maybe the idea of Southern Weather is enticing to you, Paul, because you've never experienced long stretches of Southern
Weather?
I knew that's where you were going.
Man.
I knew it 100%.
I wanted to take time getting there.
I don't think that's fair though, because I lived in Kentucky for a year.
Oh, fair. Okay.
But then I lived in South Carolina for like almost 2, and everyone in South Carolina said I didn't really live in the South until I lived there, because Kentucky apparently it's
that's the thing
arguable.
is to you. What's the correct term for a Michiganian?
Michigander.
Yeah. Wings fan.
To you,
you watch your mouth.
To you, it sounds like we're from the deep South, like we don't wear shoes or whatever. But Kentucky, to everyone in Kentucky, is, unless they have some kind of attachment to the South or the Confederacy or something weird like that.
Yeah.
Kentucky is like such a neutral. We don't really ever think about being Southern or Northern.
We're just like
and then
East.
people are like,
yeah.
Oh, Kentucky from the South, huh? We're like, oh,
sure. I guess so. Yeah, sure.
I just looked this up recently, and I think I was surprised where Kentucky was, like the Midwest or like that sort of stuff.
Like where it is on the map.
Well, no, like what category it gets put in. Like, you know, Michigan's the Midwest, Ohio, Indiana.
You know, I don't think I could pick out Michigan on the map. I think I would take a good guess. I know some of the states it's not.
It's got a whole lake, man.
It's got its own.
We got
lake.
a lot of lakes. But anyway, Michigan's great.
So, how are we going to let's talk a little bit before this thing gets ridiculously long and out of hand. What can people expect from us? What is coming up from the OK?
So we've actually set up 3 recording stations in 3 different locations so that we can record our EP during quarantine without breaking the laws.
Yeah.
So that'll be the next thing is we're all putting in the footwork and taking some time, making sure that everything sounds right for everybody.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys in Michigan, but literally the Kentucky, I don't know if there's the transportation cabinet or the transit authority or whatever that, I think transit authority is for trains. Anyway, whoever's in charge of, interstate travel, has literally anyone who has to come in for like funerals or things like that. They're like, come to your event, get back in your car and go home. Like they're not allowing people to to come to Kentucky.
Dang.
So, yeah, we're not able to meet up, which is good. You're supposed to be staying home, right? So,
Yep.
But yeah, so we're definitely the EP is on the way. We've got the track listing pretty much solidified, unless things change. We've got the scratch recordings shipped over to Paul, and Paul is next on the list of recording. So,
Got a couple pieces of gear floating around in the mail.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited.
But yeah,
So
I guess that's what's next. That's what
the
people
EP
can expect.
people should
Yeah.
expect that.
And then some social media stuff, man. We got the blogs we're going to be doing, other random posts, podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
So ways for people to stay in touch and get to know us a little more.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this was ideally not the way. Admittedly, like I wanted to introduce the OK to the world. You dream of very intentional. You want to be intentional with the premiere, right? You want your album or your single to kind of accompany your debut into the world. But this was our plan the whole time, was to introduce the OK to the world around this time. And the schedule got kind of wonky there with COVID-19. But, this is still good. It's different. It's not what we planned, but it is the new plan. So I think this could be cool, just getting to know, rather letting people get to know us ahead of time.
We had talked about it a little bit the other day, but I mean, it kind of gives us an opportunity to, going back to the bands that we were talking about earlier, a lot of the MySpace scene,
Yeah.
where a lot of it was like there weren't a lot of local music venues and things. Like they played in church basements and Knights of Columbus halls and stuff like that. But like a lot of their footwork was done on early, on MySpace and early Facebook, and like they got all their fans and built their community online and just by word of mouth, which is kind of what we're forced to do now. Like,
Right. And I think that's a great way to kind of get people in on what the OK is. So the OK, the whole premise is that, it's not an overly inventive name, but there's so much that could make you think you're not okay. Just to put it simply, you could be going through some tough stuff, but everything's okay, And so what I've always liked about the name The OK is it's like an OK is, you can give someone the OK, or you can be okay. But if you are okay, you're part of the OK, as in the group that is specified as the ones that are okay. And so, whether or not the language makes sense or not, if you're about this, then you're one of the OK too. So, I like this in the sense that it's not going to be, here's our music, take it or leave it, we're going on tour. It's, here's us, we are the OK, and you have an opportunity to be the OK as well.
Love it.
Does that make any sense?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it makes perfect sense, dude.
Okay.
I was taking it in, man, because I love that idea, That's one of the reasons I was, pumped to be in this with you guys, is I know you're not just like, oh, let's do this band and here it is. Like, you put that thought and that care and, like, think about how it's just going to impact people. How can we get people involved in this? How can we be in this together? And I think that's really good, man.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad my ranting's making some sense. So, you guys have anything super interesting to parting words or anything?
No,
Sorry, I've been
really
sipping
don't have
LaCroix
anything.
for like the past hour. I need to try not to burp into the microphone.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. I wish I had something big and epic to say, but as my favorite songwriter says, Love is the groove in which we move. All right, I'm out.
Who says that, Paul?
It's from a Cher song.
I just wanted you to say it out loud. All right.
I really do like that song, though. I'm not gonna lie.
So
Cher, bring us on tour.
Yeah, we'll add Cher to the liner notes here. So this is the OK. This is us. We are the OK. Thanks for tuning into our first podcast episode, everybody. We really do appreciate all those who have already expressed interest in what we're doing. People that are in anticipation of what's coming next. Please subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, the channel's there. Subscribe to the channel. And keep an eye out. Like Nick said or Paul said, I don't remember who said it earlier, but we do have a blog coming out every Monday. Mm-hmm. Just a quick look at what we're doing as a band, and then these podcasts will drop on the last Monday of every month. So hopefully we hear from you before then. Feel free to send us a message or anything like that. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as @WeAreTheOK. We also have a website, wearetheok.com. And for fear of being redundant, we are the OK. And so thank you for tuning in. Guys, I'll stop the recording, and then I guess I'll keep talking to you, but it's the end of the podcast.
All right, I'm going to stop. Let me hit stop.
All right. Thanks, everybody.